everyone. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I could have a motion to approve the agenda for the business meeting tonight, October 6, 2025.
Kelly and Jim.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. We have some accolades here that we would like to talk about. Well, it kind of seems self-serving to say that we wanted to show Board Appreciation Week, but Daphne did make us cookies. So
I do think it's important for the board to get recognized for the work that they do. It is I don't think it's a high-paying job, but the amount of time, hours, commitment that you folks put into making sure that the school district is run in a way that is fair, it's done in a fiscally responsible way. I want to thank the superintendent for the amount of work and dedication that you show the community, our school, students, our faculty and staff. So thank you very much for the work you do, and keep it up. We need you. Thank you.
And October 13th through the 18th is School Principals Week. So we would like to give a shout out to the administrators, because without them, then the world would be a very sad place. And I do have to say, I want to thank Kelly for kind of bringing it to our attention that while this is just 1 week of recognition, really it's every day. So thank you to all the principals that make our lives easier and keeps the schools running. So thank you. And the third accolade that we have is that the PTSA was named School of Excellence. So we'd like to have an accolade in recognition for that. There we go. So come on up, use the microphone, and share the great news, please. And just state for the record what position you hold with the PTSA.
Hello, I'm Janelle Lucci, and I'm the president of the PTSA. Hi, I'm Erin Peters, and I'm vice president of the PTSA. Oh. I'm still Janelle Lucci, and I'm the president of the PTSA. Thank you. Erin Gutierrez, vice president of the PTSA. So, Greenville Middle School and High School were designated a school of excellence by the National PTA. I just wanted to read one paragraph from the letter that we received from Yvonne Johnson, who is the president of the National PTSA. Your PTA and school are an outstanding example of the amazing things that can be achieved when schools and families work together to accomplish common goals. Your work to strengthen your family-school partnership by adopting national PTA, national standards for family-school partnerships, promotes an environment where families feel welcomed, included, and empowered to support their child's success, and where students feel safe, supported, and ready to learn. As a national PTA School of Excellence, your PTA and school will be known as a national leader in family-school partnerships that are making a positive impact for all students, families, and your school. So we'd like to present the school with a banner that we need.
Very nice.
This is yours to hang wherever you want.
So, a place to
I am sure we will find a place in the middle school, high school for this award. We want to thank the PTSA for working with our faculty and staff in keeping that bridge alive and really helping us become the district we want to become. So thank you very much for all the hard work that you guys put into this.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone's cooperation. We didn't do it all by ourselves. We're very lucky to have the principals come to our meetings and have the administration work with us and hard work with us through everything. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to move us on to open forum, and the Greenville Central School District wishes to facilitate public access to meetings of the Board of Education and to provide an opportunity for public comment at these meetings. Accordingly, the open forum provides an opportunity for members of the public to share thoughts about topics on the agenda. An individual's comment shall be limited to 5 minutes. Additionally, comments may be emailed to the district clerk, Daphne Pearson, using the email pearsond@greenvillecsd.org. In order for an email to be read during the meeting, it must be received by 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting and state that the email is to be read out loud. Emails shall be limited to 600 words. Please note this is not the time to register complaints that need to be addressed confidentially through the proper channels. Remarks that might be considered defamatory, obscene, profane, stigmatizing, or otherwise impermissible in public forums are prohibited and will be declared out of order. Board members actively listen during open forum, but may not immediately respond to comments. Is there anyone that would like to speak? So when you come up, if you would state your name for the record, even if we know who you are, and it's also for the recording, please. Thank you.
Okay. All right, got it. My name is Laura McEnany, and the relevance of my comments coincide today with agenda item 7.6, board goals with respect to culture and community. I help to coordinate Greenville youth basketball, and I would like to start by recognizing that we have many youth sports in our community, including wrestling, volleyball, soccer, baseball, and basketball, with volunteers who donate their time to help engage our youngest students. We truly appreciate GCS for your support in growing our youth programs, especially Kayla, who did a tremendous job last year scheduling all of the outside groups, and our amazing building and grounds team, who each season open the doors and prepare the gymnasium. We have volunteer coaches who work with over 150 youth athletes to teach them the fundamental skills of basketball. Recently, we met with 11 districts who offer youth programs, and 10 of them shared that they have no issues securing adequate gym space. In Greenville, we have always struggled to be able to provide set days and times for basketball. Our youngest athletes at the 1st and 2nd grade level are the only group who consistently are able to participate in skills and drills on Saturdays. Gym availability for grades 3 through 6 has been provided on a weekly basis, which creates inconsistency, confusion, and frustration to schedule practices and communicate weekly with families, knowing those times and locations depend and change each week. This has been our reality, while other groups are assigned specific days and times to use the gym. We have met with admin the past few years to problem solve some of these issues, including allocation of gym space to help provide consistency for both families and our hardworking building and grounds team. Additionally, we have shared that with an ever-growing program, we are hopeful to have more than one gym to allow all teams to practice once a week. Our goal is to provide a fun and interactive program for GCS students in 1st through 6th grade. Ideally, being able to provide home games for our older students against other local youth teams. Last year, we had multiple teams at each level, a total of 10 teams with an average of 15 athletes per team. After meeting with admin in the spring and emailing the building use request this summer with a recap of suggested solutions, we were really disappointed to learn that GYB would mainly be in the Ellis Gym on Tuesdays and Saturdays. While we appreciate finally having consistent days, this gym is too small to run games safely, and its size prevents more than one team to share the space. Thus, there is not adequate time to ensure all teams can routinely practice, and games will just not happen. Last year, we willingly had 2 to 3 teams in the middle school gym to ensure everyone was able to practice. We do not want to overpromise and underdeliver to our GYB families. The past few years, we have scrimmaged in-house when we could, but we were hopeful after productive meetings and the growth of our program that there would be a willingness to provide some time in the high school or the middle school gym. We have made it clear that when GYB needs to reschedule due to a change in the schedule for school teams, we are happy to oblige, as the priority should always be our school teams. However, looking at the current winter game schedule for volleyball, wrestling, and basketball, we are confused why gym space is unavailable, unless maybe this year teams are practicing at 6 p.m. and beyond each weekday, and 8 to 3 every Saturday in both the middle school and the high school in November, December, January, and February. Is that the case? In closing, we wanted to highlight that our varsity boys, for the first time since 1996, made it to the sectional finals last year, and many of our youth athletes attended the game in support of them. Every child needs a plug, a connection with his or her school community. And for over 150 students, GYB is that connection. We feel it is important that the board consider their goals of school culture and community, taking time to thoughtfully ask important questions. Do we as a school community value youth athletic programs? Are these programs important to the future of GCS sports? What groups have approval to use gym space in the winter? Are we saying yes to everyone? Is there a process to determine whom we approve? Do we need to prioritize in-season outside group sports first? Are we considering the size and ages of each group when determining the assigned gyms? If we have adult groups, are they assigned gym space later in the evening? Are we making sure that our student groups receive gym space priority over our adult groups? We must remember that the little Spartans of today are the varsity Spartans of our future. We must find ways to maintain and encourage these connections, not sever them. Thank you.
I have some questions just so we can clarify it for the future. There must be a calendar that's put together and sent by our athletic director. Is that, and I imagine it's like a nightmare to look at from how many things are happening. But, so there are days that seem to be available in this side of the campus?
So we do not have access to the outside group schedule. So I don't know what outside groups were approved for this year or what their schedule is in the different gyms.
Right.
What I do know is that by going on Schedule Galaxy, you can see both the home and away games that are scheduled for our school teams.
Sure.
And so when in looking at that, there are certain days, Wednesdays, for example, and Saturdays, in which there don't seem to be a lot of home games. And I just, knowing in past years what Saturdays look like, some of our school teams absolutely practice on Saturdays, but I don't see that they practice from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. in both the middle school and the high school gym. So to be told that we only have the Ellis auditorium gym, which is quite small, and won't allow for games for our children, I don't know why we aren't allocating that to a group that serves over 150 of our students.
Right, and my understanding is on Saturday it required overtime, I think, for our meetings.
Right, I think that there might be a lot of questions,
Yes.
and I appreciate you bringing it to our attention. We need to ask questions, I think, before we can say anything, so I'd rather not use the open forum right now to start asking the questions, if that's possible. I don't have an answer, okay?
Oh, absolutely,
But
I didn't expect you
I'm happy to ask questions and understand if the growth of organizations changes the needs, then perhaps things need to be looked at again. I don't know, I can't say it definitively. All right, we're done. I appreciate it. Oh, is there anyone else that would like to speak?
You're up.
We don't bite, we're nice, come on.
No?
When you come up, you sure? Just tell us your name and share your thoughts.
I'll talk about you.
Okay? Thank you.
Still on?
No, it's not.
Now we're on? Okay. My name is Travis Smigel. It was kind of fitting driving down here tonight. I saw some kids trying to use the last bit of summer-like weather. A handful of kids outside playing basketball. That's the type of thing that we want for our young kids. We want them active. We want them doing things. That's why we're here. You can see there's a group of folks here with the Greenville basketball shirts on. We're here advocating for those kids because they can't advocate for themselves. So that's why we're asking these questions of the board. Laura touched on a ton of things and a lot of great information there. I'm going to try to fill in maybe a couple little gaps there. Greenville Youth Basketball. I've been involved in Greenville Youth Basketball for over 13 years, since my oldest son was in 3rd grade. This is a volunteer-run organization, from coaches to the folks that run the group. We are a break-even organization. Folks pay money for shirts, we need to get ref fees, but it's not anything that we're trying to carry a profit for. We keep a lot of money in there to pay for the insurance that we need from year to the next, but it is completely break-even at the end of the day. Like I said, I've been involved in this for 13 years. This is not a new struggle. It seems to be that every year we've gone in and talked with folks and tried to come up with solutions to remedy these situations because it is a growing organization. It's a growing organization and it's great for the kids. It's great for the adults too. And the coaching opportunities that it presents, it gets our adults involved as well. We currently have 2 coaches in our basketball program that started with Greenville Youth Basketball and now coach for the school. So there's opportunities there as well. Our student athletes coach our youth basketball program. We have several of them over the last couple of years. A great opportunity for them to get involved with younger kids and grow that sport in that community. I noted that we want kids active, we want kids doing things. Others may disagree, but if you look at some of the research, basketball is one of the hardest sports for young kids to participate in because you're using every part of your body, your feet, your hands. We want kids doing those things. Couple action items. Laura touched on a bunch of things, and I will probably reiterate some of the things that she noted. We talked about reviewing the list of the organizations. For protocols for the school, something that the board may help come up with. Obviously, school sports teams, in-season Greenville youth programs. So that is we are all Greenville students. We don't have any outside schools that come in and participate in our program. So it's all Greenville kids. We have seen a lot of outside travel organizations and out of season sports programs come in and use the gym space. We've had baseball come in the middle of winter when we're we're trying to have gym space for basketball, definitely out of season at that point. You know, I don't want to talk bad about some of the other travel organizations, but we look at those teams when they're in the gym, and there's 3 Greenville kids out of 20 that are in there, and they're getting that gym space, and we've got kids that are waiting to get in and can't get in and use that space. So we're looking for that prioritization of the Greenville groups to get that gym access. And then lastly, I heard you mention about Saturday and the overtime. One of the conversations that we've had in the past is talking about Sunday gym access. And I know that's a contract issue with custodial staff, and we've talked about that in the past as well. But to have you guys revisit that as well. Most of the schools that participate in basketball in the wintertime have gym access on Sunday. We're one of the very few schools that don't. And it's a huge opportunity that wouldn't conflict with any of the school programs. So we appreciate you guys listening, and we hope that we can come up with some new solutions to get us some more space. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Do we have any emails? No. All right, then I'm going to thank you. I know sometimes it's hard. We listen and we appreciate the comments, so thank you. I am going to move us on to our presentation. We've got the auditor's report for the 24-25 school year by Grenadillo. Let's see, I've got a presentation, come on down.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Kylie Fitzik, and I am a certified public accountant and certified fraud examiner with the Bonadio Group, and was the principal on your audit engagement to go through the external audits. We recently completed the audit and went over the audit reports in detail recently with your audit committee, and I'm here tonight just to go over a very high-level summarized version of the audit results and answer any questions that any of you may have. First, I would like to thank Todd, Melanie, and the business office for all of their hard work and their time that they have put into this audit throughout the entire process. It's such a big team effort and big collaborative effort, and we appreciate all of our efforts in ensuring a smooth audit. So there are 4 deliverables that we provided to you. The first is your financial statements. The second is your extra classroom financial statements. The third is the required communications letter. And then the 4th is the management letter. So the school is first starting out with the main financial statement report. The annual audit includes the independent auditor's opinion on the financial statements, and we are pleased to say that we are issuing an unmodified opinion on the audit report. An unmodified opinion, for any of those who may not know, is the highest level of assurance that we as auditors can give you, give the school district. The other audit report that's included in the main financial statements is the government auditing standards reports. This report requires us to gain an understanding of the school district's internal controls over financial reporting, and we are pleased to say that we noted no material weaknesses and no significant deficiencies in the internal controls over financial reporting. The second part of the report is reporting on the school district's compliance with laws, regulations, grant contracts, that perhaps non-compliance could lead to a financial statement material impacts. And again, we are pleased to say that we noted no non-compliance on any of those areas. The school district is limited to retaining 4% of the school budgets in an unreserved, unappropriated fund balance. And within the main financial statement report, you'll see that the district is under that limit at 3.88%. We are also issuing the school district's annual audit of the extra classroom financial statements, and we are issuing an unmodified opinion on those as well. Again, the best opinion, A+, unmodified opinions, the highest level of assurance we can give you. And then lastly, we are issuing a management letter, which management letter just includes some suggestions and recommendations going forward to help improve perhaps certain areas that we look at. And the focus of the management letter that we are issuing is over extracurricular activities, which is pretty common for a lot of the school districts around the states. So within the management letter, it just goes into some details on things to look at going forward in terms of the various extra classroom cash receipts and extra classroom cash disbursements that we sampled during our audit. So that's it I had. It's a very high-level summarized version. We went into great detail with the audit committee for a length of time. Again, we thank the business office for all of their hard work and time and efforts throughout all of this. And I'm open to any questions that any of you may have.
One of the questions I had was in the management letter, it specifically says that some of the clubs, the receipt of cash, that the paperwork was not necessarily what it needed to be. And well, it's a question more for Mike. Every year, the treasurers of the clubs have to go through training. Has that been conducted yet, Mike? Do we know?
I believe that happens at the start of every school year, and that's where our business office will go off and meet with the clubs.
And I can expand on that further. Actually, our team, we have a separate consulting team at our firm, and Greenville hired them to come on in, and they spoke to the club advisors, student treasurers, and did a presentation this year, which was nice, just to help enforce what the guidelines we look at that are enforced upon the state for us when we look at the extracurricular activities. So, a little enhancement.
Right, because I think sometimes what can happen is the students are like, well, why do I need to do it? This seems like overkill, but it's like, no, it's a school, we need to follow certain procedures. You as auditors need to ensure that those procedures are being. And you also have turnover every year of the treasurer. This year may not be the treasurer in prior years, so having a presentation, thank you. I think it just helps to emphasize, and maybe someday some of those treasurers will go on to be accountants. They will be sitting there for that. So, does anyone else have any questions?
I was at the meeting, so I do want to disclose to everyone that, for one, the cash receipts, even though it might have been a small issue, but the ledger and everything was completely up to date, and so there wasn't any money missing. I assure you on that. And like you said, we actually reached out to your group to do in-person training instead of having it train-to-trainer this year. So every few years they will try to get back on schedule. And so everything did work out fine. Just want to let you know.
Thank you for sharing it. Sometimes it can be a matter of the treasurers, when you're counting cash, you want 2 people present, or at least 2 people. And so sometimes people don't think about that. But thank you, Jim. Then we're going to thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Next, as far as presentations, we have Melissa Macaluso, who's going to be talking about the summer school update. So please. So we had summer school this year.
Yes, we did. Okay, so I just wanted to give you all a snapshot of what summer school looked like this year. And kind of go through just the structure of the tutoring program, who attended, how many days, what the attendance, and what the academic outcome is. As always, our purpose of the tutoring program is to make sure that students maintain their skills throughout the summer. So we start by reaching out to teachers and looking at the intervention students that we have who are already receiving math and reading intervention. Those are our priority, as well as our special education students. For elementary school this year, we provided, in addition to math and reading, we also provided some Lego robotics time, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. However, It really is about reinforcing those skills and providing them in an engaging, individualized way. So this year, we had small groups of students, no more than 4. I would say most of them were in groups of 2. But in our middle school, we had, our 8th grade group was quite large, so we had 5 and 5. We had 1-hour sessions in kindergarten. For their attention span, it worked out to be about half an hour of reading, half an hour of math, and then 2-hour sessions in grades 2 to 5. 3 days per week. And that's a change from last year. Last year we had our summer school Tuesdays and Thursdays, but one of the reflective pieces from our teachers was that they really felt like 3 days was really reinforcing those skills more, and that even that 1 day in between wasn't providing enough practice. So this year we went with 3 days, and it seemed, at least from talking to the teachers and seeing the results of how they did, that they did pretty well with that time. And it also allows, some families have vacations or things like that, so almost all of our kids made it to 2 days a week, which was great. We had all certified teachers and a couple certified teaching assistants to help. We ran it 5 weeks. So instead of 6 weeks, we did 5 weeks because we were adding an additional day each of those weeks, and we wanted to stay within our budget. We have no transportation available. So for a few of our families, that's always a challenge. And something that we try to accommodate as much as we can as far as time and availability. So we had 2 sessions, 8 to 10 and 10 to noon. So in talking with families, some of them it was better for them to have their student come in from 8 to 10 than 10 to noon. They were able to work it in their schedule. And if not, we always send home those summer packets, and we say you can use those as a guide to help reinforce your child throughout the school year, throughout the summer, if you're not able to make summer tutoring. Like I said before, the learner characteristics, we invite all of our intervention students to attend, and then our students with disabilities who are referred by the teacher. And then students in the middle school who are failing 2 or more of their core courses must attend. Students failing 1 of their core courses is recommended. And then we have other teacher recommendations for our middle school. For our teachers and students.
Did you mention how many students?
Right now.
I can't see it.
Okay, sorry.
So I look at the screen and.
Yeah, so we had, this year, we have the same number of teachers as last year, 12 teachers, K through 5, 6 teachers, 6 through 8, and we had 52 students attend in our elementary and 20 students in our middle school. So it was a little bit of a drop in the number of students attending this year, was 13 overall. I found that there was a drop in the 6th and 7th grades where, students who weren't required to come didn't take us up on, well, you could still come, it would still be good, but many of them chose to not attend. So we had 20 in the middle school. And then we also had 10 of our students who are on APEX this year in the high school. All right.
Just based on what you said, maybe this is a reflection, would you change the requirement? And you don't have to answer it necessarily. So that maybe if you were seeing some resistance in that, well, we suggested, but it's not required, is that food for thought?
For monitoring how effective this is, it's always really tricky because we do look at our iReady results initially for our students in 2nd grade through 8th grade. And one thing that it is a little bit tricky about this data is that, say we have a 2nd grader take the end of year iReady test in June, and then in the fall they're taking it as a 3rd grader. The standards are a little bit different. So we always see, were they able to maintain? So in our middle school we had 75%, and these are our 5th incoming to 6th graders, and then our 7th and 8th graders currently. 12 out of 16 of those students maintained or grew in their iReady math. At Ellis, we had almost 70% or 2nd through 5th graders maintain or strengthen their scores. For our ELA, we had 81% in both our middle school and in Ellis who maintain or increase their national percentile, so that was really exciting. One of the things that we did this year at Ellis that we wanted to reinforce was problem solving and critical thinking skills. So, you know, one of the feedback that we got from a lot of parents last year was that they had to like drag their kids out of bed to come, and that they didn't find it as engaging. And, you know, as a mom of 2 boys, I understood that. And so Tanya, Fricky, and I tried to look at, you know, how could we bring in some STEM into their experience as a way of helping them to apply those reading and math skills, also do some collaborating and problem solving. So we used the Lego STEM education curriculum, and this was our first time doing it, so it took some training for the teachers, but they loved it. They took the boxes home and they spent like a couple days figuring it out and working it out, and they were really excited about it. So what they do is they plan different units, so every single week was putting together a new kind of robotic activity for the kids. And it incorporated reading a story and then trying to problem solve using what they knew with a partner. So it was a lot of talking and discussing and problem solving. We would like to continue something like this next year, and we'd like to even further try to make those connections more purposeful between their reading and their math. This year was really about the nuts and bolts of it, trying to get them to see how important it is to problem solve, collaborate, and think critically. So we would have them do, most teachers did 45 minutes of reading, 45 minutes of math, and then that in-between time on their STEM. And we did see an increase in our attendance for the elementary school, and in talking to most of the parents that came through, we had a couple kids who are chronic absenteeism throughout the year, and the parents said that's what hooked them, coming to school, to summer school, doing the Lego education. So that was a big win for us, and I feel like that was a really exciting part of the summer, just hearing the kids. A lot of them took videos for their parents and pictures and sent them home, like just seeing that pride, that they could do something different and new and they were good at it, was definitely a win. It would be fun to do that with our middle school students too, and we thought of that as well. So I just wanted to touch on that because that's not really reflected in the data either. But those are pretty good numbers, and they're very similar to what we had last year. Our math numbers were a little bit higher last year, but not by too much. So we also looked at another piece of data was our oral reading fluency. So this is something that we give 3 times a year, and so in the fall we gave this to our students all across the board, but we pulled out our summer school students, we saw that 64% of them stayed or grew at the mean percentile. Our 8 students who did APEX, this was a much better success this year. We had 10 students and 9 out of the 10 completed their classes, and last year that was 40%, so that was a great increase. I think we had a lot of students really staying on top of the kids this year to finish their coursework. So in looking forward to next year, it's going to be here. I mean, I can't believe it's already October. We do, in talking to the teachers and parents, they said that they would like to keep it 3 days a week because they did see that the kids were able to hold on to the information longer and build on their skills a little bit more. We'd like to keep with the Lego education. We'd like to keep the middle school schedule the same. They said that they really liked that, so the middle school was 2 hours. And it was 45, well, actually more like 50 minutes of ELA, 50 minutes of math, and a little break in between. We had the teachers purposely make groups in the middle school that worked out well based on their needs, and the feedback from the teachers and the kids actually was that worked out really well. And then just being more purposeful about setting goals with the middle school students. So our 8th graders, the teachers there sat down with them, and especially for the ones that, you know, they needed to do this in order to complete their year and move on. They set good goals with them, and we'd like to do that in the other 2 grades too, because it really seems to work, like to start each week about their purpose and their goal, and looking at some of their data and what they're doing. And even connecting that to the parents. So many of them halfway through reach out to parents just to kind of touch base with them and see, you know, how are things going? How are they doing? Are they actually working hard and doing well and not just kind of being there, right? And so our 8th grade group was really great about doing that with those students, and we had 2 7th graders as well. So we'd like to do that more across the board. Any questions or?
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
I know in the past there was trouble or difficulty getting enough staff. Did you have any issue with that this year? Is this format working well for filling those spaces?
No, we had a good amount of teachers, and it was nice because we had 2 kindergarten teachers. And I was a little bit afraid that we weren't going to have enough for doing kindergarten, but we had the right amount of staff, so that was good.
And then along those lines, with the numbers that you had, were there any kids, if they opted out or didn't want to do it, but were there any that we couldn't fill the spot, like we needed more staff to fill more kids in the program? Did we capture everybody that really needed to be here?
Yeah, we were, and I would say there were a couple grades that we did have a lot of students, but we were able to make purposeful groups within for those 2 teachers that worked together. Some of the teachers were in separate spaces and didn't do that because they wanted to have smaller groups of kids. If, you know, based on what they knew about those kids, they wanted it to be more individualized. Other teachers collaborated together and were in the same space, and they were able to make that work and make it a little bit flexible. But no, it seemed to work out really, really well, that we had the right amount of staff with the right amount of kids.
I just wanted to say the, kind of in looking at the percentage of students that maintain, that's excellent, because if you actually look at the iReady, we see the dip traditionally or on average between the June to the fall scores.
Yeah.
So the fact that that is being maintained, then by eliminating the summer learning loss, they're at a stronger foothold to then keep going. So, you know, it's like, how could we quantify, it's almost like determining an index to it, to say, okay, if on average you see a 3 percentage point decline and here we're maintaining, it's the equivalent of actually providing a 3 percentage point increase. You see where I'm going with that?
I see what you mean.
Yeah, so it's even stronger than the numbers suggest
Yeah.
for that, so.
No, and that makes sense. And I think part of it too is that our teachers do a really wonderful job, our tutors collaborating with the classroom teacher to find out what does the child really need to work on. Because you want that to be purposeful, you want it to be targeted. And so they could do a fantastic job collaborating with the classroom teacher and with the coaches. Our coaches put together a bunch of different activities that are really engaging, very hands-on for the kids. So it's not, it's not just coming in and looking exactly like it was during school, right? So the kids need to be up and moving and working on the board. They brought in a lot of whiteboards. So I never came in and saw kids just sitting there, which was great. It was a lot of discussion, participation, and even after the first week, some of the teachers came up to me and said, can we like move this group around, can we do this? And I said, yeah, like if there's a need for that, make those changes and just reach out to the parents and see if that's okay. And so they were very thoughtful, even as they got started, and really targeting what the kids need, so.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
So now we're going to move on to Tanya Fricky, who is going to talk to us about AI in our schools and transforming learning. Okay. You can move it around so that it's more comfortable.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me to talk with you tonight about artificial intelligence. It's a pretty hot topic right now, so I thought I would spend a little bit of time explain a few things and tell you where Greenville is with artificial intelligence, and then be able to answer, hopefully, your questions. So I do have a slideshow. You have access to it, and it's right up there. AI in our school. So my agenda tonight is really to talk about what artificial intelligence is, how we are seeing it and using it in the educational context, and specifically at Greenville. So as I go, feel free to stop me, ask questions. If you have thoughts on something that I'm talking about, feel free, so you don't have to wait to the end. As I planned this, looking at our district goals, this wholeheartedly aligns with curriculum because we're seeing so much of it. So I wanted to at least let you know that it's out there and we're seeing it so much in education now, so definitely this is part of our district goals. Artificial intelligence is out there so much, so things that you are doing, things that you are seeing on a daily basis that we've listed up there, like Siri, Spotify, the algorithms of self-driving cars, ChatGPT, of course. Most of your websites and web browsers like Google have AI attached to them now, so what you're seeing is a lot of AI. If you do a search now in Google, AI comes up immediately. That's the first thing that pops up. So, it's unfortunately right in our face. So we are having to work through it and learn about it. So artificial intelligence in education refers to really computer systems or machines that can perform tasks typically requiring human intelligence, such as reasoning, learning, problem solving, perception, and decision making. These technologies allow us or allow computers to understand data, learn from experience, and carry out complex jobs like language translation, image recognition, and making recommendations. There are benefits and opportunities of AI, as you imagine, and certainly I think maybe you've heard more about the challenges and the considerations that we are working through in the educational context. Certainly looking at benefits and opportunities, AI supports personalized learning and allows for differentiation. And what I mean by differentiation is addressing student needs on their level. So we adapt instruction, we provide feedback to students, and AI assists in matching materials to each student's needs, styles, and their progress. So differentiation. Teachers benefit from AI. It does save time with routine tasks, like grading sometimes, resource curation. Certainly AI is a great use for resources, allowing teachers to save time and focus more on instruction and student engagement. Also, AI enhances inclusivity and accessibility by offering features like text-to-speech, translation, and adaptive content, making learning more equitable for students with disabilities or language barriers. So there are certainly great benefits and opportunities for AI. I'll stop there for a second. Any questions at that point? Okay. So now the challenges and considerations. This is kind of what a lot of people are talking about. The ethical use of AI and the need for teacher training, definitely in the school context. Here in Greenville, pockets of educators, not everyone, are using a variety of digital and AI-powered tools. The teachers are using it, and the students need to be taught how to use it, really. So we are, at this point, looking at teacher training for AI, about AI, and how to use it ethically and responsibly. So it's really those two big things. We're seeing it being used here, but we need to kind of take a step back and teach its ethical and responsible use.
And I think, Tanya, that just to clarify that, where we need to help the students learn. they're the ones that can teach us how to do it, you know, in the sense. However, the ethical and the moral elements aren't always there, and I think that's what's really going to be critical, that not to abuse AI, because I think it's very easy to abuse it.
Right, and I also think that students need to know that AI is not correct all the time. AI,
It hallucinates beyond belief.
yes, it does. It makes up citations. You really need to look at the results that you get when you put in, you know, a search or a prompt. It makes up citations, it makes up books, authors. So students shouldn't take it for face value. If you put in something like write me an essay for Mice and Men, you really, you know, you can't just copy and paste it and hand it in. There's nothing there that's helping the student at all. So they need to be taught how to use it, how to look at the results, what it's producing. So I call that vetting AI, vetting the results that you get. And they need to, teachers also need to. You can't just put in a lesson plan and say, give me a lesson plan on the life cycle of frogs. You can, but, and I'm not saying we're doing that at all. I think teachers understand, you know, definitely that they need to look at the results that it's giving. So, you know, and that's what I'm seeing, so, which is a good thing. I'm hearing a lot of questions about it, and I'm able to answer a lot of questions about it so far, so, but it's so new, you know, especially in education, and it is the hot topic, definitely, so.
What I've seen some of the schools, that what they're doing is, for example, writing has to be in class. So it's collected, students work on it and everything else, they can't take it home, because I think the teachers have said, no, we want to ensure that the students are learning the mechanics of how to write a 5-paragraph essay or something like that. So it's interesting to see how different schools are handling it.
College classes also, college campuses also, professors are needing to adjust their syllabi and looking for project-based learning instead of papers, term papers. You can call them term papers, research papers. Same thing in here in high schools. Project-based learning is huge. Hands-on learning. So show me what you learned rather than write it. So here at Greenville, I thought I'd share with you a couple of tools that educators have the option to use. Magic School AI is a platform that we purchase, and everybody, teacher-wise, can have an account. We have a good population of teachers, a very high population here of teachers using it, or investigating, playing with it, you know, seeing what a Magic School can do. At the same time, in the next column, tools for teachers, staying on the Magic School, there's something called Magic Student. It offers students to interact with AI in a controlled room. So they're called Magic Student Rooms or Student Rooms. I set one up for the board. I don't know if you had a chance to check it out, but I did set up a couple of tools. There are over 60 tools in Magic School that teachers can assign and students can interact with. One of the ones that I set up for you is a rap battle between a member of the Mohawk tribe, I said, and an American Revolutionary War soldier about land. So I prompted and I said, I want a Mohawk Native American Indian and an American Revolutionary War soldier to have a rap battle to talk about land. And it was very enlightening. I think, Mr. Bennett, you did that one?
Very entertaining.
And it's not the same rap battle that if you were to run it again, you would get something totally different. And it's catchy, and the kids love it. So it's a hit. So I really needed to show that one. I also included a chat bot just for AI. So just like ChatGPT or Perplexity or Brisk or any Claude, any of the ChatGPT models or AI models that are out there, Magic School has Raina, it's called, R-A-I-N-A, and she is the chatbot that belongs to Magic School. So I put her in your Magic School room and I programmed her, very easy to do, just to say, please only answer questions about AI. So when you go in, if you go in, you can go in and chat with Raina, but you have to ask her questions about AI. So I did see somebody went in, I'm not so sure who it was, and asked a question about spelling. And it responded, because I can see everything too, so that's really important to know that the teacher who assigns the students to the student room can see everything that you do, everything that you write. So if I have a concern, I can come back later and say, you know, hey, this wasn't the assignment. Can you please stick to, you know, the questions that we were studying? So I did see AI respond and say, I don't know much about, you know, I can't tell you about spelling, but I can tell you about AI. What questions do you have about AI? So it keeps the students on track. Another one that I put in your room was an Italian language tutor. And I asked it specifically to ask the student, where are you with the Italian language? Are you A beginner, B, you know, just starting, you know, a few words all the way up to like E, where I'm pretty fluent in Italian. So it will pick you up and match you where you are with your learning experience. So those are 3 of the tools that I put in the student room. If you get the chance, if you didn't get the chance, if you have the opportunity, go in and check it out. Nicole, are you in right now? No, okay, I was gonna say she's over there playing with Raina, the chatbot. But it's a neat space, it's a safe space for students, and like I said, the teacher can see everything that's happening in that room. Last spring, I think it was, I presented to the middle school or the high school about AI, about Magic School student rooms, and I specifically used an example from Of Mice and Men with the 2 characters, Lenny and George. And in Of Mice and Men, Lenny is killed. And I wanted to see what it took to flag a comment. So one of the teachers asked the question, why was Lenny killed? And it flags it for me immediately with a bright red flag in my results. And I can see that the word killed was used in the chat bot, in the student room, so I can manage it. So certain words that are, you know, I guess just kind of, well, either inappropriate or a little bit more sensitive, like suicide, would be flagged. So the teacher has the opportunity to go back and to look and to say, gee, you know, they were on topic. This was a valid question, why was Lenny killed? So don't have to address that. But anything else, you know, you have the ability as the teacher to go back and monitor those comments. So I do remember a teacher in the room when I was presenting trying to make a comment that would be flagged just so we could see it, so they could see on their end how it looks and how they would be notified. So yeah, Magic School, it's a pretty awesome tool. There are quite a few different tools out there for schools, like School AI is another one. We chose to go with Magic School. This is our 2nd year with the subscription, and I'm seeing good things, I'm hearing good things, I'm really not hearing any complaints at this point. Also, in Tools for Educators, we have Seesaw down at Ellis. We do use Seesaw at Ellis for communication purposes, but Seesaw offers a lot of great lessons, and one of the things that they do offer just brand new within the past year and a half is AI awareness. So at the elementary age, it's appropriate, more than appropriate, to teach. The students are hearing it, you know, to teach about AI and to at least alert them and say this is what it is, this is what's out there, and this is how it should be used. So we can start at a young age teaching about AI. Some of the programs that we use as teachers, Padlet, Nearpod, Canva, all of them have magic, they call them, like Canva Magic. Padlet has an AI feature called Sandbox. Nearpod has AI now. All of these platforms and programs that we've used as teachers, some we subscribe to, some we don't. Many of them are freemiums. They're free for a certain point before you do have to pay for them. They all have AI. Everything has AI now. Gemini, Google Classroom. In June, Google released Gemini. It is an AI model that is used in Google Classroom. So Teacher can go in, and it's just for teachers at this point, teacher can go in and say, I would like a lesson plan on, again, frogs, or the life cycle of a caterpillar, and it will spit out a lesson for you. Again, you need to vet it, you need to look at it, decide whether you want to use that information, but it's there for you. You can take a passage, make multiple choice questions, short answer questions. You can do a lot of things. Notebook LM is one that I've been presenting to both middle school and high school. This is kind of wild to experience, but if you haven't heard of Notebook LM, you can Google it, and you can upload anything, a passage. I did use the example again of Mice and Men. I uploaded chapter 1 of Mice and Men, and it took about 5-6 minutes to process the chapter, and then it produced a podcast between two people, a man and a woman, that was so lifelike and conversational that you wouldn't be able to tell that it was AI. So I did share that with, I think it was both middle school and high school, and I think I did see a lot of, oh my gosh, that's so lifelike. So they had a conversation about chapter 1 of Mice and Men. The new feature in Notebook LM is that you can hit the button, if you will, or click on a button to say call in, so you can be a caller into their podcast. So you can stop the players, the characters that are talking about Mice and Men, and they recognize that you clicked on call in. One of the characters will say, oh hey, we have a caller on the line. What can I do for you, caller? And you respond and say, I have a question. You can ask your question, and they kind of pivot automatically and answer your question, and then continue their podcast. It's amazing, amazing stuff.
I have a question on the Notebook LM. It's on the teacher side, on the educator side.
Mhm.
My son is in college. He uses it because he's an auditory learner. So he'll scan all his notes in and listen again to his lectures.
Right.
Is there a way to do that that protects the kids at the high school level in terms of like the filters and everything else? Is there anything out like that?
Is there a way to do that here? Well, one, I do not think that Notebook LM is open to the students here. I think it's open to the teachers, but that doesn't prevent them from using it at home. Right, Notebook LM, I did need to create an account. So that's one of the reasons why, as far as EdLaw 2D is concerned, we don't want to have students sign in and give them their email address, name, anything. So that's one reason why it wouldn't be used here. Does that?
Yeah.
Did I answer? Okay. But a high school or a college student, definitely, I'm seeing it at the college level as well. You have a very, academic article, very rigorous academic article, and you read it and you have to go back and read it again 3 or 4 times to kind of let it settle in. Students are uploading the articles to Notebook LM and listening to the podcast. So, and it is good as what you put into it. So really, they're not going to make up a source because they only have that one, let's say, PDF of an article to go on. That's all they have. They're not searching the web at this point and gathering all the information. It's just what you feed them for Notebook LM.
So if the teachers are using it, though, are they able to share something with the students or
Yes.
just sitting in class? Okay.
Yes, definitely. So if the teachers are using it, you're probably seeing it in a way like I described, like if you uploaded, a short story, let's say, to Notebook LM, and the example that I gave was, as a former English teacher, I would say, go home and read chapter 1. We're going to discuss it tomorrow. And they come in and you say, before we discuss, I want you to listen to a podcast, a 5-minute podcast about chapter 1, conversational, and then let's discuss it. So it just gives the students another resource, if you will, another viewpoint of that chapter. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing, how it's being used here. But that's something that's brand new. A lot of teachers are just starting to play with it. Also, the last one on there is Diffit, Brisk, ChatGPT, Perplexity. These are all AI tools. And then the tools for students, Seesaw, I mentioned the AI awareness lessons, and Goblin tools we've been using because it's a platform that does not require students to sign in. It is web-based. It is a platform where you can put in a task, and we did this in 6th grade in Allison Bjorkman's computer science class last year. They had a research project, and they put in their task. I would like to write a paper on I'm gonna throw out a topic, how to change a tire. And if they put in how to change a tire, Goblins will spit out every single step that they needed to take in order to change that tire, let's say. And you could break down the bigger steps into smaller steps. So it was really a great tool to keep everybody on track. You could check them off online, digitally, it'll cross it out for you. And if you didn't understand something, you could break that task down even more, 3 or 4 more steps. So that was something that the students really enjoyed using. Again, that's web-based and no sign-in needed, no name, no personal information shared. It was just, I want to do this task, how do I do it? And it spit it out. So those are some of the things that the students could be using here. Magic School we talked about already. So again, if you do get the chance, go check out the Magic School student room. And looking at where we are, I think, looking ahead, we definitely need to look at professional development for teachers, tiered PD, professional development to build their confidence, to help them experiment with AI, to use it in the classroom. Certainly student learning and digital citizenship, like I mentioned, the AI awareness with Seesaw at Ellis, teaching responsible ethical use, so they're not just saying, write me an essay about mice and men so I can hand it in tomorrow, and they'll copy and paste. We really want them to use AI responsibly. And then curriculum integration. Where would it fit in? Where does it enhance instruction? Where can we use it to, improve engagement in the classroom? So that's where we are, where we're headed with AI. I know I've presented a lot and I've given you a lot of information, but does anyone have any questions?
I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you. Professional development, I think, is going to be critical because it's all, or a lot of it is based on the prompt. And it's like learning a new language. There are specific things that make it the answer so much more robust.
Right.
And otherwise, it's sort of like, yeah, okay, I don't really get it. But if you have, here's a template of a good prompt, and you start learning how to write accordingly, then the results that you can get are really rich. I think that, as with any new technology, there will be unintended consequences, and 10 years from now, who knows what. I don't want it to hopefully go the way of the cell phone ban, because of things that we didn't foresee. So, but as with everything, I do prefer to drive up to Albany rather than walk or take a horse. So I think that there is a role that technology can play. So thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else before? You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to move us on to discussion. Mike, you're up talking about the capital project.
Yes, not a lot to update here, other than the big thing that we've really been waiting for has finally happened. Ellis Elementary's got their gym, so we're very excited, but we are also met with summer-like weather, so we don't have any kids inside playing because it's so nice outside. But we'll continue to progress and give you more updates as we get closer. November, we'll have more of a full update on where we're at as we are looking to close it out. So.
Okay, next on the agenda, we do have the board vacancy, and there, I asked Daphne, please state that no decision will be made at the October 6th meeting, because I thought that was important for the public to know. We are looking at the different options. We have received approximately 65 letters from the community stating what they feel should be done. I can guarantee we read every single one of them. I personally replied to every single one of them up until about 1 o'clock today. So past that, I did not reply yet. I would like to say thank you. Thank you for voicing an opinion, for sharing your thoughts. I think that it definitely helps for us to understand what the community is feeling, and so we do appreciate that. That's all I had, unless anyone else wants to share any thoughts for it. So, yeah, I think that's it. We also have the first reading of the policies. We've got the Internet Protection and Acceptable Use Policy and 6372 Data Security. Any questions or anything related to those two items? All right, then I'm going to move us on to our action items. All right, if I could have a motion to approve the minutes from the business meeting of September 15th, 2025.
Kelly and Jim?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Did everyone? I did. Okay, sorry. I need a motion to accept the Committee on Special Education recommendations from multiple meetings this month.
Jim, Mariah?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, I need a motion to approve the personnel agenda.
Kelly? Jim?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to accept the fire reports.
Mariah? And a second, Kelly?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, I need a motion to amend the 25-26 rates of pay effective January 1st, 2026 for food service substitute and student workers to $16 per hour.
Kelly and Jim?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to approve the 25-26 board goals.
Kelly and Jim?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to approve the auditor's report for the June 30th, 2025 by Bonadio Certified Public Accountants.
Mariah and Jim?
Any discussion? I think we asked all of our questions when they presented. All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to appoint Kelly Kubicki as a voting delegate for the NISBA annual meeting on behalf of the Greenville Central School District.
Jim and Mariah?
There you go. Any discussion? We thank you. They've gotten much better. They don't go to midnight anymore. All in favor? Aye. You can vote for yourself.
Please, because I can't pass it down.
All right, let's see, I need a motion to approve the contract between Greenville Central School District and the Carlton School, Ketchum, is it Carlton? Okay, Carlton, Ketchum Grande Memorial School for 25-26 school year.
Kelly and Jim?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to approve a resolution authorizing a payment in lieu of taxes, pilot, between the Greenville Central School District, the town of Cairo, Greenville County, and New York Country Road 627, and Adriana LLC.
Mariah and Kelly?
That is the name of the company, just to clarify. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the Greenville Central School District to adopt the State of New York deferred compensation plans for voluntary participation of all eligible employees.
Kelly? Mariah?
Any discussion? All in favor? A lot of whereas and resolved. Okay, then, that's it as far as the action items for topics discussion at a future meeting. Is there anyone that would like to? Okay.
So, in multiple conversations in leadership, we think it would be good for the board to hold what's called a retreat. This is something where the State School Board Association brings in kind of a trainer and tailors it to our board and our community, and just kind of sits with us and works through questions, different topics of education for us. So I started looking into it, and I'd like to propose 2 dates if they work for everybody. It would be the board and Mike it's a 4-hour retreat. That's the minimum we would, it's either half day or full day. So if we do the half day one, we can do it on an evening, start it at like 4 and still be out of here almost earlier than we're meeting. Maybe 6 and dinner in there, I'm just saying. But ideally, if we did it in January, I was thinking there's 2 Monday nights, so we don't have to worry about trying to work around other obligations that we all have. They're not meeting nights. I think it's January 5th or January 26th. And basically, the School Board Association said to give them a call back with a couple of dates. And then they can schedule it from there. Then once we're scheduled, they'll send some information to us. They'll send some information to Daphne, some different questionnaires for us to fill out. But I think it would be a really good idea for us to sit down, presumably by January. We're going to have a different makeup than we've had. It would be good for us to all kind of sit down around the table and work with an outside moderator. So if those dates work for us, I will reach out to Eric and Dave since they can't be here, but I do want to get back to them before their schedule fills in.
So Daphne, can you send out just an email or whatever and canvass the board and just let us know if people have, number 1, are they available dates? Do they have a preference? Number 2. Okay, perfect.
And I have one, because it posed tonight, if we can get an update, because we're going into November for the gym space with the youth basketball, to put it on the calendar just to make sure we can prioritize it to move forward so they can coordinate with all the youth that they have. Appreciate that.
Anything else? All right, just a couple of reminders. It is October, believe it or not. We have the November 17th business meeting, and then we have December 8th business meeting. For that, was the only 2 so far. That's it. Then I'm going to move us to the closing open forum. Please note the same guidelines apply as stated during the first open forum. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Do we have any emails? It's after 4 o'clock. There we go. Yes, thank you. All right, if I could have a motion then to adjourn to executive session to discuss personnel matters. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone.